Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be watching Slardar, specifically my friend, who's an offlane player. He's ranked 59 in Europe right now, and I want to see what he does to take control of the pace of the game, make moves, and get active. This is something I personally struggle with. I am an offlane player myself, but I tend to be more of a farming player. I like playing the Nitrous Prophet, the Brood Mother, Lone Druid, Beastmaster, heroes that control their lane, win their lane optimally, and then kind of farm an area, where he is much more of a tempo, active, make moves type of player. So let's see how he gets it done. And the lane definitely didn't go off to some really good start. He's 0-1 as is, only 7 last hits at minute 2, and yet he's able to pretty handedly win this game. Goes 10-5 by the end of it, his team winning in 40 minutes. So yeah, let's break it down. On top of that, go sign up to the gameleap website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. All right, so in the lane here, point and bash, going for the bracer. Nothing crazy. Next item, honestly, I would expect a second bracer. It looks like he's just going straight for the treads, which, I mean, it's fine. This is definitely a lane where they have kill potential. If Omni Knight doesn't skill repel, I would say if he skills repel, it's a little bit hard because they're not going to have the slow from the W to probably run people down. But yeah, nonetheless. Oh no, he does go back for the second bracer. Okay. So going back for the second bracer, and I mean, personally, that's what I would do. I would just want to be sustainable in this lane. Have as high damage as possible from the bracers and enough sustain to continue to sit in the lane and just really last hit as, oh boy, Snapfire again coming in. Okay, he's going to have to disengage. So really getting camped to start the lane. I mean, this is kind of worst case scenario. Only 6 CS, 16 CS. Imagine he had 6 CS in minute 5. 16 CS, getting run down by Omni. And this is usually the game where a lot of players struggle on Slardar because this hero's comeback mechanics are not good. Gets ganked again. 1k deficit already in favor of the enemy team. Arteezy on the Lone Druid is destroying mid. He's nearly lower net worth than the enemy Omni Knight. And yet they go on to win this game pretty handedly. So yeah, let's see. So okay, double wave pushing in. Finally some time to recover. Maxing the W. So this is more of the roaming get active build. And something to note about this game is he does have a lot of synergy with this hero. Mainly just coming from the Wind Ranger. Right? Wind Ranger's ultimate, the Whirlwind, hits every target, right? And as a result, she's always going to connect on the amp target. So it's a really nice pairing with Slardar, probably one of the best in the game. At this point, just sitting in his lane, I think it's really important, guys, when you have a bad game, to not panic and leave the lane. I've coached a lot of offlane players, a lot of players in general, and what happens is when they have a tough start, they just begin to roam. They're like, I can't be here anymore. I've gotten ganked twice. When in reality, they're only dying because the enemy mid came or the enemy position 4 came. They're not getting solo killed by the enemy carry. Rarely is that the case. Oh man, really well-timed rotation from the snap. But yeah, as I was saying, rarely is that the case, right? Where you're just dying solo to the enemy carry. All right, so he ends up TPing bottom here, pushing a bot wave. Kind of same thing as before. When your game is tough, you want to rotate when you have your ultimate. So he's got it up and running now. This is basically the timing where you can start to get active. Minus 10 armor. It's one of the hardest level 6 spikes in the game. I mean, minus 10 armor. Most heroes don't even have close to that in the early game, right? Snapfire has 4. The Timber has, well, it depends on his reactive stacks, but he has 9 because of the Arcane Ring. The Lone Druid has 10. You know, you're putting most heroes to 0 or negative. So, yeah, farming the back camps, continuing to just try to recover. His main timing is this blink. I wonder if he'll buy the Wind Lace before. I personally would like to see it. Okay, I like this gameplay. I think at this point of the game, you're not going to outfarm the Timber. So it is kind of nice to try to make a move, and the gameplay is one of the best. They're not going to find it, but he's going to avoid any sort of movement to the bot side of the map. They're going to take the tower, which neither of them got, unfortunately. Pushes in the wave, amping the cart, gating again. Oh, this might be a really nice gate into gate. As simple as it is. Amp onto the Lone Druid, and yeah, he can actually die. That's amp damage. You could have 0 net worth, and your hero, if you find the right angle, is great. And so what I love there is that instead of sitting bottom and just AFK farming some random camps, he's using the gates to try to create a numbers advantage on one or the other side of the map. And the enemy team should have done the same thing. The enemy team should have, in my opinion, at that point of the game, been controlling the gates. They have a lead. They can control the gates and really put pressure on that bot tier 1 and prevent the Slardar from like doing what he's doing, which is wrapping behind the enemy team. TPing mid here. Wow, his team's just winning the fight straight up. Amp onto the LD. Oh no, the SK blinked away. They're not on the same page. Slardar at this point, pretty underwhelming amounts of damage against Lone Druid by herself, but they find another kill. So his team kind of carrying there. Omni Knight buyback. Oh boy. Oh no, the chain feed. Here comes the mental anguish. when you win the laning stage pretty hard, like the enemy team did, and then the at minute 15, you're like losing by 4K net worth. It's really hard to mentally reset. Sometimes it's better to just be losing and just be down 2K at minute 14 because you lost the lanes than this. This is way worse. Okay, farming the back camps. He's got his blink. He picked up Royal Jelly for some mana regen. Okay, nice pairing with the Sand King. Didn't find the Snapfire to kill. At this point, I would want to smoke with my Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's going to be the star of this game because she can purge the Repel, or he can purge a Repel, and he can purge the Guardian Angel. It's a terrible matchup for Omni Knight. So being top, this is a very deep dive at the tier 1. Disruption on the Timber. Kind of weird. I feel like they maybe didn't need it. Amp up. Nice stun from the Sand King. Gonna try to bash, and ooh, okay. Then the enemy team just can't get on the same page. I mean, these movements are good, and you can see the big thing that he's abusing here is just the gates. I think he's doing an incredible job of just moving around the map using the gate play. Okay, beautiful epi. Again on this lone turret. Amp onto the Tiny. Should probably kite here if he can. Wow, nice disruption. He might get out because of that. No way you stun the Tiny. He probably has toss. I think you dive. Don't stun, don't stun. Because good Tinies will literally, if they know that you're going to try to stun them, they'll spam toss on the ground and try to toss you. I guarantee the Tiny was at least thinking it. I hope he was at least thinking it at this level. Another well-played fight, and he's just constantly creating these number advantages using the gate. I mean, his team definitely carried that fight, for sure, and maybe the mid one, but he kind of set them up. Okay, might be dead here. Nice play from the Tiny. Okay, picking up the Orb of Corrosion here, just more minus armor. For the road, level 12, maxing the bash, skipping the 10 talent, ulti up. They're going to try to Roche here, which he's Slardar, so they can do. Amp up, enemy team, Lone Druid showed mid, so you don't have to feel scared at all. If the enemy team was coming, you would not want to sit inside of the pit as a no BKB Slardar. You would get stuck, you wouldn't be able to get out. Your blink's going to get canceled by some random like Tiny Avalanche or some Timber spells or some Snap Ult. So it's way better to get out of the pit if they're actually coming, but they weren't, so you can just continue to hit. As smoke up, they're going to try to wrap on the map. They see the Omni, it's a good target, especially because they have Shadow Demon. Yeah, it's such a bad matchup. I think it's one of the worst matchups like in the game, you know? I mean, like, one-on-one. It's just because, like, Repel is dispellable if you pierce spell immunity. It's like the only spell immunity piercing debuff in the game. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous as a matchup. And it's a really good combo with Slardar because most of the things that counter Slardar are dispellable. Solar Crest, Crimson, I guess in this case Omni Knight. And so it's a really good synergy, which is Slardar Shadow Demon. It's like one of the highest single target burst strategies you can have in the game. Amp onto the Omni. I like how he synergized with the Wind Ranger there. Instead of going on the Tiny who was in front of him, blinking past the Tiny and just finding that initial kill is way higher impact. As, oh boy, real damage onto the Wind here. So can Amp, 2-man stun, has BKB. Just going to try to stick on top of the Lone Druid here. Seems like bashing him is going to be the name of the game. Slowing down his damage. And they win another fight. Chase onto the snap. Oh, he's got him. Wow. This hero in isolation is nasty. In team fights, it's not bad because it's just putting out amps and controlling. Like, the big thing he did there is just stunning the Lone Druid, right? It's a 35 attack speed slow, 35 movement speed slow, and then just throwing out these constant bashes. It's really slowing down the Lone Druid's damage. So I love that. But okay, once again, connecting to his team, you can see the main thing is once the laning stage ended and he felt like he was ready to go, he is spending almost no time farming. 124 CS. This is mainly from just killing lane creeps, which is a great way to get farmed. And wow, he's higher net worth than the Timber. That's insane. Can he get this kill? Yeah. Okay, BKB on cooldown, so he has to be a little careful. Going for AC next, which is definitely going to be good here against the Lone Druid and the Tiny. I can totally respect that. In terms of other items that you could go, I'm a big fan of the Shard. It makes it where when you stun, it applies amp to everyone you stun. And that's, oh, he bought it here, so he actually went back for it. It's really nice with Wind Ranger, because if you hit a 2 or 3-man stun and she can follow up, they're all going to be amped for her ulti, which is really great. So, oh man, this Omni SD matchup is just so bad. Like, Omni's in position saving the Timber, and it just gets dispelled, and he's useless. Like, man, it's so bad. The casual plate mail looks really good, for sure. Minute 25, so the bracers have doubled, and now this hero feels like pretty nasty with so much HP. Love how he's playing his ward. Notice how he's making a pretty harsh movement towards his ward here. I really like that. Stun onto the Tiny. We'll get tossed here, but in place, he has a shield rune, so it really doesn't matter. Again, the Omni Knight Repel getting dispelled. Should probably amp... Okay, probably should have amped someone that wasn't Tiny. The stun gonna actually amp the Lone Druid here because of the Shard. Probably you should re-amp him there. That's good awareness. because the shard amp only lasts 5 seconds. So you need to re-amp. Good job kiting here. BKB's wearing out. The Lone Druid's not really getting low. The Wind Ranger ulti ended, so it's actually a little bit hard for them to kill anyone here. Sand King probably overcommitted. Wow, the Bear Dying just slaughtered the Lone Druid. And the amp on the Timber explodes him. And here they go. High ground. Up they go. 36 to 16. AC up next. Seems like the AC is probably more necessary than I imagined, because if the Wind Ranger doesn't get enough kills during her ulti, it seems like they lack a bit of burst. Or lack a bit of damage. Spots the Tiny. Might consider amping him. Amp into the stun. The Sand King is across the map, but the SD ulti, I mean, what? Dude, look at this damage. I mean, this is... Slardar plus SD is some of the most disgusting stuff in Dota, because he's also clicking W, amping damage by 35% if no one's around the Tiny. If he's isolated. He isn't isolated here, so the W is going to start healing. I mean, the Whirlwind plus the STW is just doing crazy damage here. If it's still on him. Yeah, it's still on him. Oh boy, nasty combo. That's the carry Tiny just getting eviscerated. And the Wind Ranger ulti with the amp. He actually did go down. Probably should have kited a little bit there. Seems like he got a little trigger happy, because he could have kited at this point. I mean, the LD is completely rooted and stuck. So he should have kited. It is actually a bit of a mistake. Oh, and they're buying back on the enemy. It actually could cost them the fact that he didn't kite out there, as the Wind has to try to get out. And she will. No, she goes back in. What does she have? Satanic? Oh, she got a full Satanic off Courier. Okay, that's pretty funny. That's good timing. Wow. All right, and that's going to be all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and are inspired to maybe play a fast tempo of Dota. I think the big thing that I really liked about his gameplay was the gate usage, the willingness to just kind of farm up at least the treads and the 2 bracers, even though his lane was bad. Kind of stayed mentally strong, obviously didn't tilt, and that's a real strength of Fade as a player. He's just very good about staying locked in, even if he gets tilted. Everyone gets tilted, right? But it's just whether or not you continue to play the game, regardless of how things are going. And so yeah, beautiful performance, just bringing the numbers, constantly finding good angles. His stuns and amps were always on the target Wind Ranger was able to go on. And yeah, the SD Slardar Wind synergy is through the roof. This combo is really good. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm out.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.